Now, the State Security Agency and not the Public Protector was behind a controversial recommendation to nationalize the Reserve Bank. The startling claim has been made by a former investigator testifying at Advocate Mkhwebane's impeachment inquiry in Parliament. Today, Mkhwebane also alleged staff were told not to implicate politicians in the Mkhwebane dairy farm investigation. And our reporter Lindsay Dentlinger is watching developments and she joins us now for more details. Lindsay, this is now week 2 and you have been going through this impeachment inquiry from day 1. Take us through what was discussed today.
So, Maseko, today is the first witness that's had to be subpoenaed to testify before this inquiry, which means that he didn't want to come here voluntarily. Yet he deposed an affidavit to the Speaker of Parliament and sent it also to the President back in 2019, in which he details certain goings-on while the Reserve Bank report was put together, as well as the Mkhwebane Dairy Farm report was being compiled. And among the claims that he is making that's contained in this affidavit is that in draft versions of the report on the Reserve Bank, there was never a recommendation that the mandate of the bank be changed. You will recall that that is really the recommendation that really set the cat among the pigeons and led to a review of this particular report. But Mkhwebane is saying that that was never part of the draft reports, and it only came to be after a meeting with the State Security Agency at which the former boss, Arthur Fraser, was present. And he says he was blocked at that meeting from taking notes and from recording the meeting, which he said was standard procedure when the Public Protector met with people related to information they wanted to provide or that she wanted to ascertain in investigations. And he found that that behaviour was really odd. He also told this inquiry that he found it odd that Mkhwebane was speaking to the State Security Minister David Mahlobo on the sidelines of this meeting alone, and he said that that wasn't commonplace when investigations were taking place, and that those involved were all to be party to discussions. And then he told this committee that after several draft versions of the report, none of which he said went through the quality assurance process, did a person that was introduced as an economist from the State Security Agency provide the office with a single piece of paper that contained a draft amendment that would then be inserted into the final report and recommend that the bank be nationalised. But here's to Mkhwebane in exchange with evidence leader Nazreen Bauer related to that testimony.
She did indicate to me that the SSA would bring a draft amendment to the constitutional provision.
And up until that stage, have you drafted such an amendment?
No.
Okay. You then point out in paragraph 25 that this email was inexplicably omitted from the Rule 53 record. Why do you say that?
I know it wasn't part of the record.
How do you know that?
I think if it was or would have been part of the record, there would have been a media outcry on that. No. So I remember it didn't form part of the record.
Mr. Kekana, were you involved in the compilation of the Rule 53 record?
Yes, initially I was.
Did you include this letter in that compilation that you put together?
Yes, I did print everything. That was, well, I printed everything and it was in the investigation file, made a copy of everything and gave it to the senior manager for legal at the time.
So something else that was explosive that he said or that he told the inquiry is that they were told not to, implicate politicians in the Mkhwebane Dairy Farm report. So then what was his involvement, according to him, in this report?
So he first told the committee that the original investigator on this report was somebody from the Provincial Free State Office, and that Busisiwe Mkhwebane had allegedly said that this particular person had to be removed as an investigator because she believed that this investigator in her office was a DA member. And then it came to be that Tebogo Kekana took over that investigation. He told the committee that much of the information that supported the Vrede Dairy Farm matter would have come from what we now have termed the Gupta leaks, but the public protector had allegedly instructed investigators in her office not to use the Gupta leaks as a basis for that investigation, and then also told to apparently omit certain information related to the inflation of the prices of goods and services, and also told investigators to make sure that no politicians were implicated in their findings in that particular report. So here is Tebogo Kekana testifying on that.
You indicate to you that Mr. Ndau had said to you that Advocate Mkhwebane had instructed him not to make any findings in the report against any politician. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you then say we were forced to remove adverse findings contained in the report against politicians, including the then Premier and the then MEC for Agriculture.
That's correct.
And who removed it?
I think it was a collective effort between I and Mr. Raidani.
Now, can you recall what transpires in early February? What then happens in respect of the report?
Well, as indicated in my affidavit, on the 8th of February, we were instructed to report to the PP's boardroom for a meeting. We attended the meeting, and in that meeting, we were instructed that we needed to finalize the reports, and the report was subsequently projected on a screen, and the PP instructed us to remove certain material or information from the report.
Right, so what is his current status now, Lindsay?
So we hear that he has subsequently been dismissed from the office, and it is still on review. He told this committee that he still wants his job back. He has told this committee that he has been, at the time he wrote the affidavit, he was only on suspension, but he claimed that all the what went around that suspension was all very spurious, that he was called, and ambushed was the word that was used, to a lawyer's office, unbeknownst to him what that was about, that his laptop had been taken from him, and when it was returned to him, a whole host of emails to the public protectors, both her official and her private address, had been removed from his email. And so currently his status is that he is no longer in the employ of the public protector, but he is seeking to get his job back.
All right.